Let me ask you a real question. Have you ever been told you have prediabetes or you've been diagnosed with type 2 diabetes and you look at your numbers and you thought to yourself like, man, I don't get it. Like, what's really going on here? Because in your mind, you're sitting around thinking like, I'm not eating cake or sweets like that. In fact, I'm not even a dessert person like that. And let me add something else. If you're gaining weight and finding it hard to actually lose weight, whether you have type 2 diabetes or not, what if I told you it might have something to do with more than just food? Because here's the issue and a pain point that a lot of people deal with that we're going to deal with in this episode. You're trying to do better. You're working out. You're making healthier choices more often than not. It's the new year, right? So you're leading out strong, but your weight isn't moving and your A1C number just keeps creeping up. And your glucose still feels like it's on a roller coaster ride. You know what, folks? I get it. A lot of times it's because we keep focusing on what we eat while ignoring what we are drinking. You know, a lot of the sugar that's pushing your blood sugar numbers up in the wrong direction isn't necessarily coming from what you're chewing all the time. It could be coming from what you're sipping and what you're drinking on a regular basis and not even realize it. What about sweet tea with your lunch? Juice every morning with your breakfast because it feels healthy. Parents are giving your kids sugary drinks in the morning, apple juice, orange juice, because, hey, it's a healthy start, right? What about sports drinks that you're taking in while you're driving? That coffee that you get every morning with all of your favorite ingredients, it's probably just a dessert with a lid on it. And I know what you're thinking. Oscar is just a drink. But guess what? Over time, those just a drinks can quietly keep pre-diabetes moving towards type 2 diabetes. It can keep type 2 diabetes harder to manage and make weight loss harder for you than it actually needs to be. So today, I'm going to break down what counts as a sugary beverage, why it matters, and how making realistic swaps without feeling punished is the way to go. Because you don't need perfection. You don't need to keep beating yourself up. What you actually need is a simple plan that you can stick to. Stick around to hear the rest of today's episode. My friend, you don't want to miss it. Let's go. Be sure to visit the website at www.beatingdiabetieslifestyle.com for access to free resources and other information that will help you along your journey. If you would like to submit a question or a comment about the show or to learn more about the Beating Diabetes Lifestyle, you can always email me at hello@beatingdiabetieslifestyle.com. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to this podcast. Welcome to the Beating Diabetes Lifestyle Podcast with me, your host, Oscar Camejo, helping diabetics make lifestyle changes to reverse type 2 diabetes. I want to give a big shout out to all of those who are listening or watching on YouTube. If you're a new listener, welcome to the show. And to my longtime listeners from all around the world, I give you a shout out. Thank you so much. My peeps in the UK, Australia, South Africa, and of course, right here in the US. Big shout out. Thank you guys. You know, I don't take it for granted that you all press play today. If this episode helps you in any way, or even my past episodes, please do me a favor. Share them with a friend or anybody you know who can use some practical helps for living healthy. We could all use some help, right? You know, somebody you know maybe is trying to figure things out quietly and they're not saying anything. This episode might be the episode that helps to connect the dots for them. Now, if you tuned in to the last episode, we laid out the foundation for this series on lifestyle behaviors. We talked about everyday habits that quietly stack up over time and contribute to either prediabetes, type 2 diabetes, and some other health conditions. We covered some really big categories like nutrition, movement, our sleep, our stress routines, the beverages, the things that we drink, and even our mindset. So I gave you like an overview, and we agreed on something that's very important. Awareness. You know, we're not trying to fix everything all at once. We're taking our time. We're going one habit at a time so you can build momentum and keep that momentum. Basically building a lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? So today we're starting with one of those most overlooked habits, and that's sugary beverages. You know, let me tell you why this topic is so personal for me. This happened a few months into my health journey when I was really trying to figure things out. I had a little bit of momentum, but I was still overweight. I was going to the gym, pretty regularly, maybe 2 or 3 times a week. I was already in my routine of eating healthier and doing the right things, right? But I remember going to Costco one day and seeing this guy who was about my age. He just looked a lot healthier. He was physically fit. And I could tell he had figured something out, like he had the key. And I want to be honest with you. I didn't want to come across, weird or anything like that. So I approached him anyway. I just had to find out. I had to figure out what was the key to this guy's success. I told him I had been diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. I gave him the whole story. And at that time, my mind was locked into the physical fitness part of my journey, right? I was thinking if I can just keep going hard in the gym, the weight is going to just come off and everything is going to be fixed. That things will fix itself. But this dude, he broke it down for me in a really plain way. He kept it real practical. He told me the issue primarily is about sugar. He said, Oscar, it's not what you think. He explained how much impact sugar can have on our health and how we underestimate the impact of sugar. Then he did something that really changed my perspective. He schooled me on nutrition labels, and it blew my mind. He said, stop trusting the front of the package, Oscar. You need to turn the package around and read. The labels are there for a reason. He talked to me about serving sizes. Then he showed me about carbs and total carbs. He went on to point out, there's a difference between the natural sugars and the added sugars. And like that thing it just hit me like a ton of bricks. And I was like, wow, sugar is in way more stuff than we think, folks, especially in the things that we're drinking on a day-to-day basis. Man, he helped me to connect the dots. From that day forward, my perspective on sugar totally changed. It wasn't just about cookies, especially talking about sugary drinks and why I was struggling to lose weight. Gosh, man, I was just dialed into something different. But then I started paying attention to what I was drinking. He schooled me on how to do this. I started noticing how much sugar and artificial content was in the drinks that I used to drink all the time. Even the healthy sports drinks, the smoothies that I used to waste a whole bunch of money on. These things are supposed to be meal replacements. But you know what? Looking back, those sugary drinks contributed a lot to my weight gain. Man, I'm so glad I changed my mindset. So when I talk to you about changing your life, I'm not judging you. I'm trying to save you time and money and a lot of headache. Now, when people hear sugary beverages, they automatically just think about soda. But for a lot of people, soda isn't even the main problem. Some people don't even drink soda. You probably don't even drink soda. If the drinks, it's really about the drinks that we feel normal, the drinks that feel cultural, the drinks that are labeled and feel healthy. Now, here's some common sugary beverages that sneak in. Iced tea or sweet tea if you're from the South, lemonade, fruit punch, juice with even 100% juice labels on them, sweetened iced tea, coffee drink with syrup and all kind of flavored creamers, your sports drinks, even when you're not working out that hard, your energy drinks, your sweetened flavored waters, these bottled smoothies that look like milkshakes, and even some of these high protein drinks that are marked healthy, they're marketed to you as something that's going to be beneficial for you. Man, don't get me started. Honestly, that's my soapbox. Now, I'm not saying that you're a bad person or you're making these bad decisions. I'm just saying that these drinks can quietly work against your goals if they're a part of your daily habit. That's the point. Here's why sugary drinks matter so much when it comes to prediabetes, type 2 diabetes, and even high blood pressure, high cholesterol. Liquid sugar hits fast. There's no chewing. There's usually no fiber, and it's easy to take in a lot without even feeling full. You can drink a big cup of sweet tea in 2 minutes and still feel hungry. Then you still want to eat a full meal. So your body has to deal with the meal and the sugar you just poured into your system. And no wonder why we have these blood sugar spikes all the time. And when blood sugar spikes quickly, the body responds by using insulin, the natural insulin, to try to bring it down. But now, you know what? insulin is not the enemy. It's actually a tool. That's how our bodies are designed. But when that tool is being used all day, every day, over and over, and it can contribute to insulin resistance over time. And that's what leads to prediabetes. We're making things so much harder if we just really pay attention to the small things in our real life patterns and things that we're doing on a day-to-day basis. That's why I want to talk all about the real life things that you're dealing with, because it's not always so obvious. Again, the sweet teas with every meal, the juice at breakfast because it feels healthy, the sports drinks because you're tired and you just need a pick-me-up. You want these fancy coffees that really are desserts, these healthy smoothies that has more sugar than like 3 cans of soda. Some of these flavored waters, they taste good, but they may not be good for you. But then people say to me, well, Oscar, I don't eat sweets. And I'm like, yeah, it might not be the sweets. You might not be eating the sugar. You may not be consuming the sugar in terms of like cookies and stuff like that. It might be the things that you're drinking. It's not about the sweets all the time. It could be the sugar that you're drinking that's causing the issue. Now let's do a quick self-check. Not guilt, not shame, just being honest. What do you drink on most days and with most meals? What do you sip on when you're stressed or when you're tired? What are you drinking late at night? What do you grab when you're at the grocery store and you're on the go? When you're at the gas station, what are you grabbing every day? If you pay attention to your choices for 1 week, what story would that tell? Now, if your answer is, I'm drinking more sugar than I thought, that's not failure. That's awareness. And awareness is powerful, I'm telling you. Now, with awareness, there comes a need for action. Now, let's talk about what to actually do. I'm going to keep this very practical. I'm going to keep it as real as possible because I know you have to live your life and enjoy it. That's what I want you to do. We're not going from sweet tea to sadness overnight. That's not the key. We're building a bridge so you can actually walk across. Now, here's some suggestions that I'm going to give you that I think you may want to consider. What about drinking more water, plain or sparkling water, some unsweet tea, or half sweet tea is a step down, some water with lemon or lime, add a cucumber in your water or some berries. Drink coffee with less sugar and cream. How about some unsweetened iced coffee with some cinnamon or something like that? The goal is for you to look at the added sugar on these labels. By the way, I have an entire episode where I talk all about how to read nutrition labels. When you have a moment, check out that episode. It's in my whole library of topics that I've talked about. So let's keep going. If sweet tea is your thing, I get it. Lemonade, if that's your thing, I get it. Sometimes we need to start with half sweetened drinks. We have to reduce how much sugar we're intaking. Cutting things in half is okay. Now let's talk about a solid plan that I want you to consider. I'm actually going to give you 3 simple plans. I just want you to pick one that fits your lifestyle. It's not about changing things overnight. So remember, pick one. Plan number 1, the 1 drink rule. Basically, replace 1 sugary drink per day. Do that for about 7 days. Now, here's plan number 2. This is the mealtime swap. Only change what you drink with your meals. Start with what you're drinking during breakfast, during lunch, and dinner. Again, switch out that sugary drink that you normally have for something healthier. Now, here's the 3rd plan. Now, this one is cool. It's the gradual cut. If you drink sweet tea or soda, drink half of what you normally drink for about 2 weeks, then step it down again. Folks, this is how you win. I want you to win and win big. Not by being extreme, but by being consistent and intentional. The intentionality is what's going to help you win the day. Listen, let me encourage you. If you change nothing else but your drinks, many people notice a difference. I notice a difference when I start making those small shifts. I had less cravings, less afternoon crashes, having more energy. Man, we could all use more energy. You know what I'm saying? And over time, we end up having better control of what's happening with our health. Not because drinks are the only issue, but because drinks are often the easiest place to start getting momentum. And I want you to build momentum that's going to last. I don't want you to look 6 months from now and you're back to square one. All right. So today we talked all about sugary beverages and the shifts and the habits that we can make, Remember, one habit, one shift, one big win can go a long way. In the next episode, we're staying on target. We're going to be focusing still on nutrition and that nutrition category. We're talking about ultra processed foods in the next episode. And I'm going to explain why it's not just about the calories. Calories are important, but it's about what we're doing to our bodies as well as what we're putting in our bodies that's causing hunger, that's causing cravings, and so forth. So make sure you subscribe to this podcast and stay locked in. So for now, let me recap this episode real quick. Sugary drinks sneak in, they hit fast, and they can quietly keep your blood sugar on a roller coaster, keep your blood sugar numbers high and spiked really high. But the good news is you don't have to change everything today. Remember, this week, pick one drink to change, just one. And if this episode made you think about somebody you care deeply about, again, please share the episode with them. No judgment, just help. Also tell them about my website at Beating Diabetes Lifestyle Podcast. I have a whole bunch of material out there that they can download for free. If you're listening and you feel discouraged, let me say this. You're not stuck and you're definitely not powerless. Small decisions that we make on a day-to-day basis done consistently can and will change your health over time. And I believe you can do this. I wholeheartedly believe that if I can make these changes and see results, you can too. For now, as always, stay focused, keep moving, never go back, leap forward, bounce back because you can, my friend. And above all else, trust God. You got this. I believe in you.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to the Beating Diabetes Lifestyle Podcast with Oscar Camejo. We hope you enjoyed this episode. As a reminder, this podcast is intended for motivational and educational purposes only. It is not a substitute for professional care by a physician or other healthcare professional or qualified fitness instructor. This podcast is provided on the understanding that it does not constitute medical or professional advice or services. If you're looking for help on your journey, seek a qualified medical practitioner. It's important that you utilize someone who is a trained, licensed healthcare professional who can help you on your journey toward good health.